AITA for removing my daughter's bedroom door because she won't stop slamming it. I, 40F, have 3 kids. Maggie, 14F, Levi, 12M, and Charlie, 10M. Asterisk not their real names. Asterisk Levi and Charlie share a bedroom and Maggie has her own room as the oldest and also only girl. Maggie is a great kid. She does her homework, helps with chores without too much complaint, doesn't bugger little brothers too much. The issue is, she will not stop slamming her bedroom door. When she gets up to use the bathroom at night, she slams her bedroom door on her way out and back in. When she gets up in the morning or goes to bed at night, she slams it. Pretty much any time she enters or exits her room, the door gets slammed. And it's only her door, none of the other doors in the house. It shakes the walls and frequently wakes up everyone else in the house. Her brother's room shares a wall with hers and our bedroom is directly above theirs. We've talked to her about it and asked her very politely to please be more mindful about it because it is disturbing the rest of us, but it's in one ear and out the other. We tried being more forceful about it, saying that if she continues to slam her door there will start to be consequences. Nothing changes. It all came to a head the other night when she got up to use the bathroom and all 4 of us were woken up by the slamming. I have to be up at 5 a.m. for work and I've had enough of the broken sleep and came downstairs and knocked on her door. She opened it and said what? With such attitude it took a lot of self-control not to start yelling. I told her as calmly as I could that if she slammed that door one more time she was going to come home and find it gone. She proceeded to yell at me to leave her alone and then slammed it 5 times as hard as she could. Well, the next day, Friday, she went to school and my husband and I both had the day off, so we took the door off the frame and installed a curtain rod with a nice heavy curtain over the door. Instead, she came home and freaked the *UCK out. She said we're being emotionally abusive and taking away her right to privacy. She sulked all weekend and won't talk to us now. My mother says I'm the because I overreacted, but she doesn't have to deal with the house shaking. I want to add that we completely respect each other's privacy in our house, which is why we hung up a heavy curtain and made sure that we couldn't see through it or around it. We even put little Velcro pieces on the walls and curtain sides so it stays in place. She still has her physical privacy, which she is absolutely entitled to, but can't slam a piece of fabric. We also have never and still don't just go into her room unannounced and still knock on the wall to ask permission to enter. Told her we'll happily put her door back on once she agrees to respect the no slamming rule. So AITA? Edit to add. The curtain is an industrial type that blocks sound and light. The curtain is only meant to be a temporary measure. As soon as she agrees to stop slamming, be respectful of the shared space, we will put AITA back on. The door isn't broken or malfunctioning in any way and there is no draft causing it to swing shut.
AITA for telling my coworker she doesn't need to be adopted. So my coworker, 26F, lost her adoptive dad 6 years ago and lived with her adoptive mom. Let's call my coworker Pam, not her real name. Pam has been working with me for a few months now and it's really clear that she doesn't know how to think on her own. Her mom still packs her lunch and she drives her to work when it rains. Now Pam does not have any sort of disability or delays. She much able to do everything on her own but has been coddled her whole life. Now her mother has gotten a job offer in another country. Pam has made it clear she doesn't want to move and will be staying here if one of her older siblings adopt her. She had 3 older siblings, 45, 42, 37. Pam is the youngest and was adopted from another country at the age of 3. I told her that it's so sweet that she will be living with a sibling, but I asked her what she meant by adopting her since she is 26 and the legal age is 21. She says that she needs to be adopted to stay because who's going to take care of her since her mom is leaving? I asked her to explain. This woman doesn't pay any bills. She has no idea how to cook for herself or live on her own. I asked, there's a reason why she can't live on her own. She told me that it was too hard and it's better if someone just takes responsibility for her. I told her that the only way they can adopt her is if she releases her rights to her siblings and the court would have to determine if she is incapable to be on her own. She told me, that's fine, I don't want to be responsible to be on my own. Why she has a job then, and she basically told Mesh works to fund her shopping lifestyle. She has the latest phone, gets the newest purses, always comes to work with a $7 coffee, and has really nice clothes. I asked why she doesn't just budget her money better so she can live on her own. She looked at me like I was crazy. I flat out told her that her siblings would not be smart for adopting her, because there's no reason to be adopted. This made her mad and she reported me to HR. I now have to write an apology memo and submit it to her by Tuesday. Now I'm thinking I should have stayed out of it, but this girl has no idea how the world works. AmItheAsshole edit. Pam started the conversation and we always have these kinds of talks, and even if we disagree, we move on. She is one to talk about everything at work. She does more talking than work. This is just the first time HR got involved.
AITA for not telling my mother-in-law her son had passed? I sound completely awful here, and I think I might be. Now that pretty much everyone in my family thinks I'm horrendous, I wanted an outside opinion. My husband passed away recently after a very sudden and difficult struggle with cirrhosis. It was easily the worst thing to happen in my life. The damage was invisible for years. We never saw it coming. He got so sick, so fast. After diagnosed him, he lived a little over a year. We called all our family, including his mother, who otherwise we don't have much contact with. I've always hated that woman. She has always been cruel to him, put him down every chance she could. When we called saying her son was terminally ill, she first denied it, insisted we were lying. Then she went on about how we should have seen this, that this is just what happens when you're a drunk. Of course this shut down the call pretty fast. She and Lee called once after that, and we didn't pick up. A little over a year later, I had to bring him to the hospital, and in 2 days, he was gone. At that point, he was already just so confused and hardly conscious. I told my parents and his brothers, and we were the last people to see him. I wasn't doing very well at the time either. Everything just happened so fast. I wasn't ready to make any of those decisions, and between the doctors and the bills and just seeing him so sick, I didn't even think about his mother. In the days after, I just didn't want to deal with her. I know that's horrible, but I was just so tired. She called me a few weeks later, I'm not sure how. She heard. She was hysterical, which I know is understandable. She said I robbed her of saying goodbye to her son, and robbed him of a proper service. I should have just hung up, but I was so hurt and so angry. I informed her a very nice service was held, which every important person in his life was there. I said she must be mistaken and blocked her. She's gone ballistic. Called my brother-in-laws in tears about how I've ruined her life, gone on Facebook about how devastated she is and publicly begging me to talk to her, how she just wants his things and to know what happened. Even my parents said it wasn't my place to make that choice for my husband, and I should try to talk with her. I know I probably should. I know he was hers before he was mine. But she made him miserable, and if he had been able to choose, I know he wouldn't have wanted her there. I don't think she deserved to see him, and I don't think she deserves to have any of the things that were his. But now that I write it all out, it really sounds horrible. Maybe I'm out of line to make that. The only people who haven't said I was being cruel are my husband's 2 brothers, who know how she can be. But other than them, she was the only family he had. Maybe it isn't my right to interfere with that. Maybe beyond ****. Am I an absolute awful person?
AITA for avoiding a game day I wasn't invited to? My F45 husband, M44, has a group of friends he occasionally has over for a day of board games, like an 8 to 10 hour stretch. He goes to their house to do the same. In the past, I was invited lots of the time, along with other wives, girlfriends. As we got older and kids came along, or for whatever reason, I'm not invited to participate. No other partners do, either. It's probably been about 5-6 years. I've known these people for more than 20 years, and I like them. I like games, too. But whatever, it's his friend group, not mine. To be clear, I am explicitly not invited to join in. Now, when he hosts, I try to be out of the house doing other things. When I am home, I go to a different floor of the house and just hang out by myself. I say hi briefly when I see his friend, but I do not stick around or have longer conversations. He asked why I am like this, with annoyance, after the last one. He says one guy's wife is in the kitchen with them and cooks for them most of the day. She likes doing that. It's not a weird gender role thing. Another sits with them and chats. He says it's awkward that I don't do that and clearly avoid the house entirely if I can, and then that floor if I can't. From my perspective, informed by a lonely childhood, I have absolutely no interest in hanging out around the edges of a social thing I am not invited to. That seems so sad, pitiful, desperate. I can have had enough of doing that sort of thing marathon 30 years ago. I am not invited. Possibly tell if I am an annoyance or too much or affecting the dynamic from what they intended the dynamic to be by not having partners there. Further, it does hurt that I had been included and now I'm not. I really liked them and playing games. I guess that wasn't so much mutual. I am also kind of sad that I'm not in a marriage where couple friends are a thing. We're friendly, others friends, but he, while entirely welcome, also isn't interested in hanging out with my friends. Maybe that's a rare situation for people. It's not what he wants, and he has a right to that, but I can be sad about it. He seems to think I am therefore pouting and taking it out on him. I think if I'm not included, it's crazy that there would be problem with me absolutely not being there. So tell me, am I being an awkward and rude asshole? Edit. To clarify a few questions. Yes, this has been communicated. Read the last 2 paragraphs like a conversation, with these words and details exchanged, because it was. Secondly, why I'm not included is irrelevant. It's completely acceptable to want to hang out with friends by yourself, even in a marriage. The change happened mainly due to ease of playing with a smaller crowd. It sucks for me, but no one is being explicitly mean to me by not including me. Third, I have stuff I'm happy to do on my own. I have my own friends. And while I get the nice intentions, I have no interest in making a friend group with the sole shared commonality of our husbands or friends, or excluded spouse spite game day. That seems extra soul-killing and sad tone for some reason.